All right, well, let's get to some local news, and it's local only because it pertains to Austin, but this happens all over the country, so I think it's worth talking about. KXA, this is from KXANnews.com. That's a local NBC affiliate. Austin Parks and Rec Department apologizes after planned segregated racial healing meetings. The City of Austin's Park and Recreation Department apologized after sending out an email that alarmed several workers. The email, sent on January 25th, titled in part, Healing from Racial Trauma, told people to attend one of the two meetings, one for people of color and one for white people. A PARD, that's the Parks and Recreation Department, employee sent KXAN the internal email that came from someone who recently started as a PARD Equity and Inclusion Coordinator. And it goes on. So, maybe should I do this real quick? And I think, let's do that. And then we'll do this. And then we'll click share. And
Parks and Rec Department is apologizing after sending out an email.
I saw her. I just want to say I met her in person a couple weeks ago. And she's as beautiful in person as she's on TV. So I just wanted to do that real quick. So.
Oh, that's okay. That was it.
You want to watch a 3-minute KXAN video?
You put it up. I thought that's why. No, I don't. But
she's very attractive.
Okay, I agree. I just thought you put it up because we were going to watch the video. I didn't know that you just put it.
No, it's not. It's not worth hearing from her. It's just worth.
All right. Well, this story I only found out about because Michael took out his pitchfork on Twitter and rallied.
Sorry, I accidentally pressed play when I was exiting. I'm sorry. You only saw this video because what? Or this story because what?
Because Michael took out his pitchfork on Twitter and was rallying the gang to go burn down the city of Austin over this. So let us know your thoughts, Michael Searle.
This is a clear signal when things have gone too far. You have intentional racial segregation by a 24-year-old. Queer mujer who sent that email.
What is it?
And you don't speak Spanish?
I didn't know he was like, I thought that was like something. Anyway, go.
It's in her bio. But
okay.
This is a signal, folks. That
what's her name? Can you tell me her name?
No. This is I'll find it after I make my point, and then this is a signal. It should be in that news article. Okay. It's a signal that we've let the progressives go too far. We have an email directing people to segregate based on race to racial healing meetings. And then 3 employees, all who are Black, are the ones complaining about it, feeling offended that we would do such a thing.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it was Black employees that I guess raised their pitchforks first. Charles was not Michael. I think her name is what? Jonessa Munoz?
No.
No? Okay.
Magali Arredondo Lopez.
Magali? What kind of name is that? That's not a real name. That's fake. So you say that, I'm going to push back at you. It's a sign that progressivism has gone too far. Yeah, I think that's correct. But what is progressivism? What is its purpose?
That's the wrong word. They're not progressing. That's not progress. That's regress.
Yeah, this is clearly a regress.
This is not to them, and you know that's not true. That's not what they believe. You disagree that it's progress, and you can point to the dictionary definition of progress all you want, and they will turn that definition around on you and say, yes, we are progressing because this is about racial healing, and racial healing is progress.
Yeah, I'm not in the business of debating with people who've who are out of their minds, let's say.
You are
segregating
on the podcast with me.
Yeah. Segregating people based on the color of their skin is backwards.
Yeah, okay. I don't get how it's racial. I don't, and I know that's not your argument, Brad. I just don't understand how they argue that is racial healing. Is there something to be said to be in community with people who share similar life experiences, much of which are based on your skin color? Sure, I can see that. But would you go to something that forces forceful segregation based on that? No, I don't think that's I don't understand that. That's crazy. Similarly, we see it. Thanks, Brad. We see it.
Right. Calm down.
This is similar to the colleges that were doing their separate graduations, the black and everybody else graduations. And it's like, for what? For what? Why? Like, why? For what is this going to do? What is me working for the city of Austin and going to a meeting with only black people going to do? What is the purpose of this? What is the outcome? How is that better going to help me do my job? And I don't think it will. And you see these just crazy ideas that that are infiltrated, that people use to infiltrate like local government and other stuff. It just makes no sense to me.
Well, I think the point is that they get to air their grievances in a safe space, right? And I don't know what sort of grievances Parks and Recreation Department employees have, especially racial grievances, especially against each other. And I don't know how separating them, even putting them together, is that the right play? If you have a white and black meeting, I guess a normal meeting, is that the right place to be airing racial grievances?
I don't know. Why don't you go to HR? Like, I think that's the place to do it.
The way I read it was not like specific workforce grievances. It was like feelings of racial, or like feelings of racial discrimination in our history and all that stuff. Like, that's what we're talking about, or they were talking about, from my understanding.
Michael slipped and said we're.
They were discussing. Which no, the Parks Department is not the appropriate place to be hosting those meetings.
Where is the other place?
People can elect to build a community of folks of this, same or different races, and talk about these things amongst friends and family, but like mandating it for employment and like segregating people in the workplace, I thought we got over that in the 60s.
And what happens if you're mixed race? I mean, like, really? And you look a little too dark, you'll probably go with the black people. You look a little too white, you'll probably go with the white people. But what if you're just kind of straight down the middle? Or what if you're, Asian, black, Hispanic, and white? Like, what?
Is yellowbone, is that a derogatory term?
No.
Okay. I don't think it is.
I've never heard that.
Yellow. It's when it's a lighter skinned black person, correct?
Well, it is, but typically, so yes, it is. But black people use red bone, and then yellow bone. I don't know when that started, but it did at some point. But typically, for lighter skinned black people, it would usually lighter skinned black women would be called red bone, and then somehow it changed to yellow.
I wanted to connect to our younger audience by using correct, cultural terminology. So, if you're a yellow bone, right, which meeting do you go to?
Yeah, I don't know that you should use it.
What?
Are we in another one of these?
Dang it.
I mean, I think it's fair. I don't know. Like, white supremacists have adopted that. I don't know why. I don't know why. Yeah, I mean, and I have no idea why. They just like co-opted it, but it is a word that has been used. So yes, I don't think it's right. Like,
whatever. I'm joking. I'm not. I don't.
No, I know. But to your question, yeah, I don't know where they would go either, and I don't think they know.
Well, I think Barack Obama set the precedent.
He was the president.
No, he set the precedent. Give me a call, Charles. He's half white, half black, and he's our first black president. Right?
Yeah, well, that's not him setting it. That's always been a thing. Like the one drop rule. That's always been a thing, that if you have a little bit of black, you are black. But lately it's kind of more if like you look it. Okay. I don't know. I feel like we've gotten more racist as a society lately. I don't know.
We're separating each other based on race. So
yeah.
It seems like that is the case, and it's not my fault. I'm here trying to educate myself with a black friend of mine about what terms are okay and not okay. Right?
We should make this a segment on each show each week.
We should have a segment, Brad's racial education. And yeah, until I'm full, until on the inside, then I can maybe. How would I feel? Am I still white after that education? I don't know. Can I Rachel Dolezal?
She did. So yeah, she did. So did Sean King. So might as well.
Oh damn! You don't think Sean King's black? I don't think he is either. But it's.
I don't think so. I thought we proved that, but maybe not. But I don't think he is.
Well, I mean, he still maintains it. I think we're getting off topic a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Just a little bit. So I think it's. I think this is what progressivism is, because progress has to progress somewhere, and it's not. We are already we don't have any segregation now, and as they find more things to progress towards, this is the ultimate logical conclusion to all of this, and it's only going to get worse. Yes, it's going to get worse. It's going to get.
Is it the logical conclusion
for progress, for progressives? Yes. What do you think?
I thought the trajectory was colorblind society.
Well, you got it wrong.
When did it change?
I mean, probably
last year. I think. It does feel like it changed in the last 2 years, where we want to go this full circle back to, because you see a lot of this stuff, not necessarily instituted like you're seeing in government, but like we mentioned before with the separate graduations, there's a lot of stuff I see on Instagram of black only trips, where a bunch of black people go on trips together, and it's only for black people. And so there's been a lot of stuff like that are popping up in different areas, and some of it has existed, but I think seeing it kind of move over into this sphere of this is a place of employment. Not only is it a place of employment, but it's a government place, and we are going to now separate you by color. I think that's an extreme, and since we're clearly there, I don't know how we go back from that. I just don't, because they're pushing and pushing and pushing. And sure, they stood down in this instance, but I'm sure in 6 weeks we're going to see another something pop up like this.
Yeah, this started with intersectionality, and that started decades ago, right? So if you're it wasn't in the mainstream, but it was certainly in the universities and in academia, and crept its way, the long march through the institutions. And the intersectionality says that if you are a white woman, then you are more, what's the word? Why am I blanking? Help me out here. Fuck.
Privileged.
Yes, there it is. Privileged. You are more privileged than a white black woman, right? You're both women, but the black person has less privilege. So the black person's what?
You said a white black woman.
Yeah.
What?
You said a white black woman.
Was that? I was thinking of the Obamas. I'm sorry. So, so a black woman is less privileged than a white woman, and a black handicapped woman is less privileged than them, and it intersects in all these different weird ways, and that's where it started, right? So, and that was progressivism. That's everything from feminism to all the other isms, right? Progressivism. It's progress. That's what they are progressing towards. And the logical conclusion to all of that is more separation, because they, me as a white man, I have the most privilege, is what they tell me. And therefore my voice is already heard. And that is true because we're on the BCM podcast. So it's heard throughout the world. But in an official setting, my voice should be last because I'm already heard, and my interests are already represented. Right. So it is the logical conclusion to all of this. It didn't start recently. It started a long time ago.
What is the next step?
I mean, black nationalism, white nationalism, Asian nationalism. I don't know. I'm not saying that I want it. I'm just saying is that the next step? I don't know.
I don't know. It's psycho, but I'm the most privileged class, so I get what.
The next step is equity. The next step is equity. The next step is communism. That's the next step.
We're already at equity.
No, not full equity, right? When you see the city of Austin, I'm sure the city of Houston does this as well. You see it at the national politics as well. You're talking about, climate equity, right?
Yeah.
And everyone always wondered, what the fuck is climate equity? What does that mean? And what it means is that they have to implement programs, and they will keep implementing programs until across the board, across all races, there are no longer any more disparate outcomes based on climate from race to race.
Yeah, I don't. This is one of the theories I heard that's interesting is like this is just one of the results of too much prosperity. Like these are the things you think about because you're so comfortable. But I like want to back up and just say I'm open to the idea that there are like systemic racism. We've talked about that. I'm open to the idea that the criminal justice system overly punishes people of color. I'm open to all those things. I just don't understand why the response is let's discriminate against people based on race to address discrimination based on race. It seems counterintuitive and backwards. That's where I'm lost.
Because those are white institutions, according to them. Those white institutions have implemented systems that, you know, disparage against black people, you know, for like the criminal justice system, right? That's a white institution that harms black people more. And believe it or not, the Austin Parks and Recreation Department is a white institution, according to these people, right? And so they have to come in and take it over from the inside. And then they have to have these separate meetings because they're white institutions. And if you have black people in a meeting with white people in a white institution, then maybe black people's voices won't be heard because of some, you know, whatever imaginary rules that they think they have at the Parks and Recreation Department.
I understand what you're saying. I'm just the next step is what doesn't make sense to me, but we can move on.
It's communism. That's the next step. Oh, anyhow, Charles, do you have something to say?
Well, I was going to say you're not wrong, but I think the answer is simply have one-on-one HR meetings if that's the problem. If you're afraid to say it in front of your colleagues, then I mean, this is ridiculous. But I do think, I mean, like Michael said, there are instances, you know, even with, I wouldn't call it climate equity, but like, I don't know what they call it. It's not like pollution equity, but like there's documented, I mean, and it's here in Houston as well, like a lot of poor minority communities that sit just on the outskirts of the ship channel that get all the pollution that comes from all the factories and stuff like that. So you do have things like that, and they were pushed there because of redlining and unable to buy property in like a nicer area. So you have vestiges of that. But yeah, I don't think the solution is to then punish people today for ills of the past. It's just to make right what was done wrong. And I think they're just going to such an extreme to right those wrongs.
Okay. Well, that was fun. I didn't think that we would get that deep into it, but we did. Way to go, guys.
I'm gonna get us canceled off YouTube.
What?
I'm gonna get us canceled off YouTube.
Why? You didn't say anyhow. So let's see.